I'm going to get straight into it. The Bora is just over there, literally just behind the camera, and it looks a little bit different to when you last saw it. Right, I'm going to show you. As you can see, the Bora is no longer green. It is a Golf R blue. The lip is blue. I'm just going to put a disclaimer in here. I did this myself under a gazebo that I bought from eBay for £80 in November in the wet, moisture air. And the paintwork didn't really go to plan. It's a little bit... and it's not good news because the gazebo has obviously got really wet overnight and it's kind of seeped through. So I've got two choices really. Do I, piss back the paintwork and then struggle getting everything else done? Or do I carry on and just ignore the paintwork? I think I'm just gonna have to ignore the paintwork because it's just not gonna be perfect, because as you can see, it's just all soaking wet. You can see the water in there, look. So I think I've just got to acknowledge that it's just, you can't paint in November with a roller on a car. And even these side skirts, it looks like a fucking cat's been in here. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Questionable when you get really close. Actually, it's quite embarrassing. But I think the thing as a concept looks quite nice. I've actually got some silver mirror caps that could potentially go on as well to kind of add in the silver, but I quite like the blue at the moment. Still need to clean up a few areas, got a bit of paint here and there that's overlapping. Quite annoyed with the front here, which you can see quite a lot actually through the camera. It's not so obvious in life, but it's a little bit black and white. No matter what I did, I kept sanding it right back, priming it, spraying it, nothing would dry. And it left it quite patchy. You can see the paintwork here. Look. This is where I've roller painted the car. Had to do it as cheap as possible because obviously on a £300 car, I wasn't going to go and get it properly resprayed for thousands of pounds. It just doesn't make any financial sense. As much as I'd like to, I can't afford to do that at the moment. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and then maybe one day I'll be able to actually afford to do it and not have to paint in a gazebo with a roller. My number plate lights weren't working. So as you can see, this is going to be the issue for the number plate lights. So after a quick strip, all I need to do is put the wires back together and the lights worked. And some of the original subscribers might recognise the wheels. They are the TSW Holstons that were on the A8, which is, I know, that is sacrilege, but it had to be done. More on that another time. So yes, it's looking pretty good. It sits quite nicely. The only thing is I'm getting a bit of a clunk on this side on the rear. And this is the side that I had the issue on, but watching it back, I couldn't see what may have gone wrong. It is possible that the new coilovers have caused extra strain on the other parts. However, on the night before the journey, I ended up taking the suspension strut out and putting a new mount on top, and this seemed to cure the issue. We had quite an issue with this bolt. The bolt had snapped, so I ended up putting this nut on the left-hand side and tightening the nut up and kept tightening until it was so tight that it started pulling this bolt through that way. Got a bit of an issue. Top mount has come straight down through the suspension on the Bora, which means that I haven't got anything to kind of work against to get the strut out. And the strut spreader tool is 3 days late and it hasn't been updated on the tracking, so it looks like it's not turning up. It's Saturday now. We're leaving to go Land's End, then John O'Groats on Wednesday morning at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m. Not sounding great. I'm just going to have to try and tighten it all up and just see if that makes a difference. The front sits a little bit higher, but I wanted obviously movement because they're massive wheels in a very small arch. I had to take the arch liner out and everything because it kept catching. So yeah, we're going to have to leave it fairly high, but it does mean like if you took it anywhere, not that you would show it with this kind of paintwork, you could drop it down on the front a bit more and on the back a bit more, to be fair. Obviously, some of you might have noticed that there's no number plates on it at the moment. I need to put those on, obviously, because we're going to be doing a road trip with the £300 Bora. And I thought, well, why not paint it and stick some alloys on it and lower it and just have a bit of fun with it. So I took your suggestions on TikTok mainly. I had hundreds and hundreds of comments. It went mad. Everyone seemed to love the Bora, so thank you for liking the Bora. We're going to be doing Land's End to John O'Groats. In fact, the road trip starts in, I think it's like 3 days, and I've still got so much to do. I got an exhaust to go on it actually. Got a really nice exhaust. It goes straight through and it will sound really nice and loud. I have, some of you asked as well, I have remapped it. Well, I've got the ECU that got the map on it, if you see what I mean. It takes it from 130 to 165, so not a massive increase, but it's still looking like 25%, which is quite a lot for a little car. And hopefully the torque will be increased a fair amount too, obviously being a diesel. I've got some side skirts that need to go onto it as well. Yes, like I say, from a distance, it does actually look quite nice. I like the concept of what I chose to do. It's just a shame that the actual doing of it didn't really come to fruition. So there you have it, the £300, 260,000 mile Bora is modified. Hopefully we'll make this journey, because you have to remember that I actually live in Cornwall. So I've got to drive from Land's End to John O'Groats and all the way back down to Cornwall. So it's going to end up being around 1,700 miles. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but it will be an interesting journey anyway. So I'll be making a video on that, so please do subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with that. Please do hit the like button, push that up in the algorithm, and it means more people can see it, and that helps me out and it helps you out, because long term we can start doing some more crazy stuff. Got a couple more cars that are going to be coming to the channel as well, but obviously the Bora was the most important one, because if we're doing Land's End to John O'Groats, we need to make sure that we don't do it in December, where it's going to be 1 pissing down of rain and freezing cold and potentially icy and snowy. The last thing I need is to get stuck in a Bora and freeze to death in my £300, 260,000 mile Bora.